Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Southland Bowling League Championships. I'm Dave Lamont, InsideBowling.com, and practice is concluding for these 8 teams, and this is believed throughout college bowling to be the strongest conference top to bottom in women's college bowling. And in just conversations with the coaching staffs of all teams, everybody, you ask them, well, who's dangerous? Well, anybody can win this. And they're not just saying that to be nice. There are certainly teams that you look at, the higher seeded teams, Vanderbilt number 1, for example, that you have to think might have a better chance. But the consensus is here that there really aren't going to be any major upsets. Maybe a 7 or an 8 seed winning in this demanding format that will last until Sunday evening, by the way. We are at Bowlarama in Rowlett, Texas, about a 40-minute drive from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. And delighted to bring you action. And you'll recognize some of these names. If you are a college bowling fan or a junior gold fan or a PWBA fan even, there are some names here that you will recognize immediately. Now, we have our cameras on 2 sets of lanes. And we're going to focus early on number 2 seed Arkansas State and number 7 seed Tulane. Also, matches going on. Number 1 Vanderbilt and number 8 Valparaiso. Number 4 Youngstown State. Number 5 Sam Houston. We also have cameras on that one. That one's going to be incredibly competitive. That's college bowling right there. That's Stephen F. Austin, the Lady Jacks, who are not on camera, but we're not going to have a hard time hearing them. Stephen F. Austin is the number 3 seed. They're taking on Louisiana Tech, and that was a team for a 6 seed that I got from a couple of coaches that Louisiana Tech may well be. And we're just letting this noise go because why not? We're just getting Brad Hagan, the coach at Sam Houston, came over with his lineup. So the first games you're going to see here are not Baker. It's just bowling. You're 5 bowlers, but it's not a Baker game. It's just volume pins. And whoever wins that takes a 1-0 lead. Then we go into a traditional Baker. And if you win that, then you're finished for the morning. If you don't win, then we'll go to a best 4 of 7 Baker. Now some of these matches, if we're at 1-1, are going to go on for quite a while today. And others will be over with. Folks will have a chance to kick back, do some grocery shopping until the afternoon session, which begins at 2:30 Eastern time here at Rowlett Bowlarama. It's an intimate house. It's barely over 20 lanes here, but a location that's familiar with the Southland Bowling League Championship. So the match you're seeing there, Arkansas State in the gray, Tulane in that light blue that they mix with green, kind of a water effect in the school colors, since Tulane being in New Orleans, where this championship has also been held. And what we don't have at the moment are lists of a lot of different lineups. We have Sam Houston's lineup, but that's all at the moment. And we're hoping those will be fed to us as time goes on. Our schedule on Inside Bowling is pretty simple. We are, again, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central today, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern, and so on also today. Same schedule tomorrow for rounds 3 and 4. And then Sunday morning, one more round like these at 8 in the morning Central time. And then we get into the championship round, 6 or maybe 7. And that will be determined a little bit later on. What's at stake here? Well, we have 6 of the top 12 teams in the nation competing right now. An automatic berth in the NCAA is at stake here. there's a pretty good chance you're going to get all 6 of the ranked teams making it. But if you win this, obviously that's going to improve your seed like any other NCAA event. And yes, briefly checking the chat, Mike Flanagan will be here tomorrow, I believe, for the afternoon session. Mike's a tad busy at the moment. But he will be here, and we'll take you through the rest of the weekend together, which is something I'm very much looking forward to. I'm also hoping, because everybody's waiting on Carolyn Doran Ballard to appear to watch her daughter Alyssa for that outstanding Vanderbilt team, the #1 seed, that perhaps we can persuade Carolyn to tear herself away to watch. I haven't seen her yet. My understanding is we'll be able to hear her. So I don't. Usually Dell will be here also. So. That incredible Ballard bowling family will be showing. And they're Texans. They live in the area. This is mentioned, like, for example, Sam Houston coming out of the Austin area is a little less than a 3-hour van ride in their Bearcat van. So we're working on getting you all the names prior to the bowling, and that is, again, so far the winner of loudest team, and there is no trophy for that, but Stephen F. Austin has lots to be proud of. They are a vocal bunch as they take on Louisiana Tech to our immediate right. The match you're looking at, Arkansas State in the gray and Tulane in the light blue, the sky blue. But the Southland Conference Coach of the Year, Doug Kuberski for Youngstown State, he was presented his plaque before bowling got underway. Alyssa Ballard, newcomer of the year in the Southland Conference. And Mabel Cummings of Vanderbilt, the senior of the year. So Vanderbilt, a deep team. You've got experienced coaches and John Williamson and, of course, Josie Barnes, the PWBA Tour. So you're getting some incredible instruction in addition to the great tradition. Of course, Vanderbilt educationally is off the charts. Arkansas State out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, an hour away from Memphis. Of course, the Jonesboro house that Arkansas State uses has had several PBA events over the years. And the dream in Jonesboro is to one day get both a PWBA and a PBA event possibly at the same time. That's the hope, anyway, of the proprietors down there. Don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it would be absolutely incredible if they could pull it off. There's a great love for bowling in that area, and Arkansas State has a facility there, a locker room, a drilling area, and so that's one of the reasons, facilities matter in all sports. You can win without them, but having them gives you an extra edge both in recruiting and, of course, in your training. And in a sport like this, where the equipment is unique and very personal, it's different. Like baseball, you have to have your bat's got to be your bat. It's got to be done right for you. And the same thing goes for bowling. So for Arkansas State, we now have an order, and that is going to be Emma Stull, the junior from Raleigh, North Carolina, to be followed by Sarah Saines from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, home of Middle Tennessee State. That's a junior. She's a junior. Faith Welch, a junior from Savannah, Tennessee. In the 4 position, Maggie Toma, a freshman from New Braunfels, Texas. And number 5 will be Brooklyn Buchanan, a sophomore from Snohomish, Washington, which is actually an area that Justin Kostick, the head coach for Arkansas State, knows well. Talking with Justin this morning at breakfast, a couple of the teams staying in the same hotel that I'm at. Justin's mentioning he's got some family in that area and may one day down the road retire to there. Although he mentioned Rowlett as another place you consider retiring to. The nice thing, Kim, is we may not ever have to put a camera on Stephen F. Austin. If we just pop the mic up loud enough, we'll be able to hear them.
We're definitely going to know when they're doing well.
Well, that's one of the cool things. College bowling, and I remember that actually the first event I ever did for ESPN in 2010, I worked with both Chris and Linda Barnes on that, and we taped the ITCs. And I had never seen anything like that in my life. The hysteria, especially the day before on the Friday when they're trying to get to the TV show. In a confined space like a bowling center, the noise in there is literally unbelievable. It's not. It's you're almost walking out with your ears ringing like you've been to a concert. And that same intensity, of course, carries to the women's game. There isn't going to be any doubt about it. So Louisiana Tech, right now it's a shouting contest between the two. The bowling looks pretty even. So anyway, let's continue the lineups. For Tulane, we've got leading off, that's going to be Amelia Vasquez, a senior from Oviedo, Florida. In the number 2 position, Urelis Alvarez, a junior from Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Then Katerina, or Kat Mente, a sophomore from Keller, Texas. In the 4 position, Sofia Druknaya, a sophomore from Ukraine. And then Mia Solakis, a freshman from Worcester, Mass., making her way down to New Orleans to get that Tulane education and to bowl for Haley Veach, the head coach. Also, we've been watching, we gave you the Sam Houston lineup, Youngstown State, and you can now, let's go split screen here just for a second so we can show everybody 4 and 5 and our inside bowling coverage. We can split screen if we need to, and we will frequently do this. It's a lot of fun to keep up with the action. Youngstown State right there in the red. And that's a light hit on this 40-foot pattern, which I've been told will be hooking. It's 28 mils, 40 feet, and the power players are going to go 8-9. Most of the rest of the ones here will be starting at 5-6. But in practice yesterday, a couple of coaches told me it moves fast. That you may see some changes early, and you may see people going left early. Let's see, I've got Youngstown State, I've got Sam Houston, Arkansas State, Tulane. So now you have identified all the players for both sides. And this is a taxing day for these athletes. I mentioned the possibility of a best 4 of 7. That's not just a tiebreaker. That is another day's worth of bowling for some people. And that's what looms overhead if you don't sweep your opponent. So some teams will get plenty of rest in between, and others will be going right up to almost the 1:30 Central Time start for round number 2. The bracket is just what you think it is. 1 versus 8, 4 versus 5 in the same side, 3 versus 6, 2 versus 7 in the same side. And it's that simple. I make it sound simple, but it isn't that simple. And did I mention this is double elimination? That's right, because what's going to happen today is those teams that lost are put in a position where they could be sent home after one day. So matches 5 through 8 will look like this. The loser of Vanderbilt, Valpo, Youngstown State, Sam Houston, those two will face off against each other this afternoon. That's going to be followed by the losers of the other matches. So the Arkansas State Tulane loser will take on Stephen F. Austin or Louisiana Tech. Meantime, the other 2 matches will be the winners. And that will get us through our 8-match day today. So you get down in that loser's bracket, or the polite way, the contenders bracket, whichever you want to call it. I'll be honest, I got to be a little frank with you. I prefer loser's bracket. It's the truth. I think we can take it. So that's what faces whoever. So for example, let's just pick a team. Just pick any team. I'm not going to name a team here, but let's say one team loses today, goes down, bowls this afternoon, and loses, then they are out. But if they win, they'll have to bowl tomorrow. Well, look, Carolyn made it. You're late. You guys are late.
No, he was here. I ran a Starbucks.
Okay, well, Carolyn had to get Starbucks. I should have known. we're going to let them parent, and I might ask her to come by. We've done a few shows together. And good to see. Bell looks great, by the way. Happy to see that. And they are attired in Vandy swag. Anyway, as I was saying, so let's say you lose today. You come back this afternoon and you win. You've got to come back tomorrow morning and win again. Then you've got to bowl in the afternoon, win again tomorrow. Then you've got to be here at the crack of dawn and win again. And then you have a shot at the finals. So it's an exhausting. And you look at a team like Sam Houston, Brad's team, they are probably in the worst position for this because they're thin. They are the thinnest team here. They have just 6 bowlers. And I'm looking at nobody. I mean, Valpo has 7. But nearly everybody else has 8, 9. You know, they have depth. So that's going to be a huge test if Sam Houston is forced down into the loser's bracket. That's why this match in particular, to me anyway, would be critical for them. I mean, Stephen F. Austin, and not all of them are going to bowl, of course, but Stephen F. Austin has what looks to be informally about a dozen bowlers. Vanderbilt has 10. Arkansas State is deep. Youngstown has a bunch. Mentioned Valpo's a little light. Louisiana Tech lists 9. Tulane's got a good bunch, about 8. So this is going to be interesting for Sam Houston State. Now, again, in this kind of bowling, it's not everyone's going to bowl anyway. But if you get in situations where somebody wears down, or maybe you start getting a problem with the hand, or fingers start to get beat up, maybe you do need to tap somebody in for a couple of shots or for a game. And that, if you just don't have it, and you get some exhausted bowlers. So everybody's fired up now, as you can hear. And it'll be interesting to see as these days goes on. I'm really curious to see what everybody looks like on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. I know I'll look like heck, and I'm not doing anything but sitting. So this is a massive challenge for these athletes to get through this Southland tournament, in addition to the high quality of the competition. Let's not forget, as I said earlier, and probably will say many times, 6 of the top 12 teams are here. And that's a Youngstown celebration right now. Looking to see, looks like Arkansas State, front 3 for Emma, their leadoff bowler. And nobody else, at least on the matches that we have. I'm looking at the score for Sammy Houston, Louisiana Tech. No one off to a fast start like that either. And the other matches are just out of my eyesight. I don't have any binoculars. But if anything wild happens, we'll find out. You see a little issue there on the approach for Youngstown. Also, something else a couple of coaches brought up today, the weather. It rained overnight, and it's still pretty gloomy out now. This is going to break for the afternoon session. So jack up the humidity outside a bit. We had a pretty good amount of rain overnight, and even driving here this morning, there were a couple of quick hit storms and some very low, dark skies. And so there is some concern among the coaches that may have an effect on the conditions, at least early. Well, if you're watching on our right screen, that's a 4 spot to start things off for Emma Stahl, the junior from Raleigh, North Carolina. Bowling for the Red Wolves of Justin Kostick. And for Tulane, their anchor, Mia Stolakis, has doubled. And no one else on our screens going that good at the moment. We see a double for Youngstown. With Jade Cote. I don't know if I mentioned their lineup, but you've got Jade, who's from Quebec, leading off. She's followed by Lindsay Ennis, a sophomore from Conway, South Carolina. Then Megan Grams, senior from Michigan City, Indiana. Kirsten Moore, a junior from Tallmadge, Ohio. And in the anchor position, you've got Madison Marks, a junior from Maplewood, Minnesota. So you can see that it looks like Arkansas State's score is on the left. They have an advantage. That ball is very fortunate not to get any worse than that. But Arkansas State facing a split in the number 3 position. So their score is going to take a little bit of a hit. That's Louisiana Tech making some noise. And a flush strike for Sam Houston State. And that's Taylor Lucas, their sophomore from Hilton, New York, in the number 2 position. Kaya Gray, Taylor Lucas, Bea Hernandez, Denise Blankenzie from the Netherlands, and then Elise Chambers from Ocoee, Florida, near the Orlando area, in the number 5 position for Brad Hagan, the head coach. Sam Houston State winning last week in Tennessee. So they come in as maybe the hottest team. They're the number 5 seed. They might already have a spot in the NCAAs taken care of, but a strong showing here is going to help that a great deal. There's a nice mixer. And the next on the board for the Green Wave, and the first strike for Cat in this match. Just looking around the house, we just saw a 2-hander there for Arkansas State, and that's Denise Blankenzie from, I'm not even sure I can pronounce the town, but I know how to say Netherlands. And so she's 2-handed. Not, of course, lefties are a distinct minority. Not surprising. That's just the population. And there you see a missed spare opportunity, and that's the other thing. At least half the coaches I spoke to this morning before practice or during practice talked about spare making. We all know, you've watched enough. I'm sure all of you are bowling fans who are tuned in. You know, every pro, I could bring Carolyn in here, she could do an hour class on spare making, and you'd better pay attention. The spare making, the pros will tell you over and over again, is frequently the difference in winning an event. Nice conversion there. That looked like a bucket. Very well handled. And Youngstown State making some noise. But yeah, the spares here, the coaches talked about that. Nobody's really expecting this to be a strike fest. And especially, I would think, as the day goes on, that you're not going to see a strike fest. So that's where your spares become critical. Well, I'll tell you this, after 4 frames, pardon me, you have Louisiana Tech and Stephen F. Austin knotted up, almost. They are as close as you can be. They're just 12 pins separating the 3 and 6 seeds. Stephen F. Austin, the 3 seed. And as they start the 5th frame, or about to start the 5th frame, Youngstown's going to get one more bite of the apple here with Marks. And nope, just that tiny bit off. So we'll get an update on the score. They were 35 down. They are 35 down now, as that has been changed. Let's go back, see if we can get a front 5 here for Arkansas State. Oh, Maggie Toma is the 2-hander, my bad. Going for a front 5. Nah, it's going to be through the face and going to end the run. So 34-pin lead for Sam Houston State through 4 frames. It's kind of a big conversion coming up here for Emma Stull. That's another thing, the level of concentration that you have to have. That's beautifully covered. Is incredible because you just can't stand around and wait for silence. It's not going to happen here. You know, I've done enough of the professional shows, with the exception of, you know, Maine, that it's, I mean, the joke, you could hear pin drop, you know, meaning a bowling pin. But here, no. If you want quiet, you can go stand outside in the rain right now. You have to concentrate. Now, obviously, courtesy still matters, but the noise level, no. I don't know how many of you have been to a college bowling event or a high school bowling event. There's the high school that I work at has a bowling team, and I've gone a few times, and it's just chaos noise-wise. So here, that's something else you've got to block out. If you've got a particularly important shot, especially right now with everybody going on. Now, it'll start to quiet down a little bit as maybe somebody gets eliminated or somebody moves on and they take some time off before the afternoon round. But, man, your level of concentration here has got to be top-notch. Nobody is worried 3 lanes down, ooh, we can't cheer because somebody is shooting a 7-pin. That's not happening. Looks like a pretty shot and an unfortunate ringing 10 for Youngstown there. And Lindsay Ennis. And when will we see transition? Coaches thought it might happen fairly quickly. Now for Arkansas State, we take a look at their lineup. And in the number 4 position, you've got Maggie Toma. And a little bit of a struggle early here for Maggie. 9 spare is her best, open with 3 straight open frames. And that is a terrific shot that didn't get the result it deserved. So it looks like Maggie might be finding her sea legs here with that shot. Powerful looking 2-handed delivery from Maggie. Strike for Sam Houston. An important spare conversion. for Tulane. And that was Catarina Mente. That match, look at that, just 2 points, 2 pins, now 3 pins difference through almost 5 complete frames for the two sides. Again, the format here, this is not a classic Baker. This is just knock them down, add them up. We'll get to Baker in the next round, or the next game will be a Baker game the way you know it. And if you don't know it, by the way, you list your top 5 bowlers, and then let's say Kim, who's running the show today, is my #1 bowler. The only time Kim will bowl is the first and 6th frames. And that's it. The #2 bowler bowls 2 and 7, 3 and 8, 4 and 9, and your anchor bowler 5 and 10. It's that simple. And if you think it gets loud now, just wait. And not surprisingly, you've got parents, there's some grandparents in here, aunts and uncles. As a sports parent myself, it is agonizing watching your son or daughter. It can be fun too, of course. It should be fun, but if you're a competitive person, it can be difficult. Because there's nothing you can do. No matter how much instruction or good karma or whatever you want to call it you send their way, they still got to execute. That's Taylor Lucas with the conversion, I believe. Let's see if I get my players right for Sam Houston. No, that is not Taylor. That was that's Kaya Gray. With the spare in the leadoff position. Now Taylor Lucas, the #2 bowler for Sam Houston. Huge break for her. She had a lot of traffic on that left side that she was able to knock down. And the pin setter kind of lost its mind over there. I believe they're going to have to reset a 10 pin on lane 11. Now you just heard all that noise at the same time that's going on. Ennis for Youngstown State is shooting. She's rolling her ball while all this is going on. So the concentration level for these ladies is top notch. It has to be. Trouble for Arkansas State on the right lane on 20. And that match just about dead even. They've got a baby split on the left lane and an unfortunate 4-7-10 on the right. This is InsideBowling.com coverage of the 2023 Southland Bowling League Championship. The winner of this goes into the NCAAs, although you have several teams that are likely to go, and maybe a bubble team in Louisiana Tech. So this is an important event for them to do well or to maybe win it. And there's a, just missed on that. I can't see if there was a sleeper back there or not. It looks like there was. Yeah. This is the quietest it's been all day. Not for long. Youngstown State making some noise after a big strike. If you're wondering, if you can't quite see, depending on what device you're on our left screen, Sam Houston, Youngstown State. Youngstown State score is the left margin, and the right is Sam Houston. On our right screen, you've got Arkansas State left and Tulane right at the moment. Right on the left lane, but the right lane, big problems. But despite that, Arkansas State is hanging in with a small lead as we're ready to wrap up frame number 6. This is the first of 2. We'll go to Classic Baker format in game number 2, or match number 2 if you wish. And if you happen to be in the chat, Inside Bowling, now we're posting a live stream schedule and information on this event. So for Arkansas State, this is a big shot on the right-hand lane. For Brooklyn Buchanan. Riding a double. Pretty. Late tap on the 10. She's got 3 in a row, and a big shot there for Arkansas State. You see the score adjust to plus 32 after that. Although Tulane has not finished its 6th frame, has a makeable spare. Easy for me to say, on 19. Sam Houston State opening up a 72-pin advantage. Their chant's pretty good. Deep in the heart of Texas, followed by a yee-haw for the Bearcats. It's your reward for getting a strike. We do have 2 Youngstown bowlers riding doubles. And that's Megan Grams in the 3 position. And Kirsten Moore in the 4 position. Oh my. That's just unfair, Stone 8. Not that there's such a thing as a fair one, by the way. But brutally bad break on the right-hand lane on lane 12 against Sam Houston. And Taylor Lucas, that just doesn't seem right. The other match that you've been listening to, even though you can't see it, has been the Louisiana Tech Stephen F. Austin match. And the Lady Jacks, Stephen F. Austin, have a 27-pin lead as they are wrapping up frame number 7. In fact, Louisiana Tech did finish the 7th frame, and the lead is now up to 47. one slipped out just a little bit on the left lane for Youngstown. And that does have an 8-pin back there. Flush hit for Sam Houston State. And that's 3 in a row for Bea Hernandez out of Manila in the Philippines. This is an experienced Sam Houston team. And Brad Hagan has 2 grad students and 2 seniors. A junior and a sophomore. So this team is built for these kind of competitions with their experience. So Brad Hagan keeps talking about, well, we just had 6. And you remind him, yeah, but you only need to bowl 5. Right, on your right, big moment here for Arkansas State, maintain their lead with the 2-hander up. That's a powerful hit and a stuck 9. Wow, did not see that coming either. Excellent spare conversion on the right-hand lane for Sam Houston State. So Maggie Toma looked like the freshman, threw a great ball, and you see the result. But right behind her, they've been getting Arkansas State, pardon me, has been getting some fine bowling from Buchanan. So Maggie cleans that up. Bad break there. And a big strike for Youngstown from their anchor bowler, the number 4 seed Penguins. And a big shot for Madison Marks. And they're trading jabs back and forth now, Sam Houston State and Youngstown. Buchanan trips out a 7-10. And that's another strike, 4 straight for her. Lead now 44, although, as you can see on your right-hand screen there, Tulane still has 2 bowlers yet to come. Although the first shot for Sophia did not work out to her liking, the 3-6-10. There's a little bit of a cleanup job on lane 11 as Youngstown picks up another strike. And an awkward leave for Kaya. Kaya Gray, the senior. You don't see that one very often.
Big save, big save. Coming down.
Beautifully done. Fantastic shot by Kaya Gray. Missed the head pin the first time around, but managed to get all 5 of those. That's a huge spare. That could have been a count monster against Sam Houston State if that didn't work. And that went through the face just a bit. So 3-6 left over for Youngstown. And Tulane, their anchor, a left-hander in Mia Stalakis, a freshman, has put together 3 in a row and is having a terrific game. She could go 269 here, potentially. Flush And Arkansas State getting strong efforts from the number 1 and number 5 positions. You've got Buchanan riding 4 in a row. There's a double off of an open frame for Arkansas State's leadoff bowler, Emma Stahl, who opened with a front 4, had a little bit of a stumble, but has come back nicely. And this Louisiana Tech matchup against Stephen F. Austin is a hand fight right now. It is really close. And Stephen F. Austin has a spare to convert to finish out frame number 8, which they do. And their lead is 18. That's it with 2 frames to go for this first. And remember, this doesn't decide anything. This only helps. You're trying to get 2 points here. So 1 point for winning this one, and then we go to Baker. And Youngstown reacting to a big strike.
Come on, let's go up, Lindsay. One time. Great shot.
Louisiana Tech picks up a strike. That match now a 2-pin difference. And we're starting to run out of time. Trying to get an eye on Vandy and Valpo. We haven't mentioned them yet. 1 versus 8. Looks like 112 pin difference or something around that number. And it's up to 131 now. But to be fair, I can't tell from this distance which is Vandy, which is Valpo, but we'll try to see who's bowling here and see how the scoreboard changes. Valpo's on the right-hand lane. Yeah, it looks like Valpo's down triple digits in that match to number 1 seed Vanderbilt. Team that's pretty loaded, as you might guess, with both the senior and the newcomer of the year on that Vandy team. And on the far right, I can read this. The difference in the matchup on the far right is 1 pin. And that is that Tulane Arkansas State battle we talked to you about. Now it's up to 19. It just changed. So terrific battle on the right. In the middle, you only have an 18-pin difference between Louisiana Tech and Stephen F. Austin. And a strike for Sam Houston State. Their lead a little bit more comfortable now at a plus 101. And the tension beginning to show. You see that man right there, your coach of the year, Doug Kaburski. And he is, he's pacing. That's about all he can do right now. Trying to get that important first point. Doesn't guarantee you victory, but it gets you one step closer. And you see, look at the run here that Sam Houston State is on. Almost all strikes in the 8th and 9th with one exception, and they've been clean so far in the 8th and 9th as they're trying to put this thing away. Their lead has expanded to 121. Of course, a big strike there for Youngstown State on the left lane. Gets a big reaction from the Penguins. And Sam Houston just shaving a headpin and taking the bucket and breaking it up into half. So that'll be a big help. And you see, look at the score for Arkansas State, and suddenly in the 8th and 9th, they're beginning to finish strongly. But Youngstown will not go away easily. That's 5 in a row for Moore. But at this point, if you're Sam Houston, with that lead, which is pretty good, 91, you just don't want to have a disastrous 10th. And we see that for Arkansas State, Maggie Toma picked up her first strike of the match in the 8th frame. Player number 4 there on the left. You need to know your rights and your lefts right now. On the right screen, but the left scoreboard is Arkansas State. Flush, dead center, dead solid, perfect for Arkansas State. And Faith Welch. And Maggie Toma getting a last-second bit of instruction from Justin Kostick. Maybe they found something that Maggie can use in the Baker match. No, she might have something now. That's a big double for Arkansas State and for Maggie. I would think for Maggie especially. Given that, as you can see by her score, she struggled through the first 7 frames. Had a bad break in the 5th frame with a good-looking shot that left a 9-pin. But afterwards came right back to not finding the pocket, and suddenly she has doubled. So you just missed it, but right in front of us, where we're located, Doug Kaburski called his team together and gave him a quick, I guess pep talk would be the only way I would describe it. Trying to get something out of his team in this 10th frame. They're down 110 with Sam Houston State a spare pending. Arkansas State opening up now a decent lead on Louisiana Tech. And if you take a look at that Arkansas State board, there's a lot of X's on here. Now, they do have this awkward 3-6-10 leave for Brooklyn. Don't chop it. Yeah. That's the first mistake they've had in a little while. She can still end up, though, with a 2-11. Beautiful conversion on that sleeper 2-8. So first score is starting to come in. It looks like a 202 for Sam Houston State. And Kaya Gray. Well, you're going to get some terrific scores in this Arkansas State match. Look at this finish they're putting up. as they start the 10th frame. Louisiana Tech lagging just a little bit behind in pace, but not much. 193 there. So in the number 1 position, only 9 pins separating the leadoff boulders for Sam Houston and the Penguins. What I have seen, and we talked about spare shooting when the day began, some excellent spare shooting. I know there have been some misses on makeable shots, but very few. So Taylor Lucas will be in the 220s. Youngstown getting a nice shot there, a nice strike from Ennis. And look up, I mentioned Arkansas State beginning to build a lead, and I see all of a sudden it's down to 6. With the 10th frame coming up. And Arkansas State will finish on the right lane. Oh, through the face and tripped out trouble. Big ball there for La Tech. Or pardon me, Tulane. And not going to get that 7 to fall on the left lane, on lane number 19, as Arkansas State's lead sitting at 69 pins. Sam Houston leading by 117. Is that a Vanderbilt win, Kim? Did they get the first point? Okay, they haven't finished. All right, 8:54 we have for Valpo. 8:34, thank you. Maybe it's time to bring out the readers. What do you think? Well, I gotta love how Youngstown is finishing up this match. 4 in a row to end it for Lindsay Ennis. So Youngstown State getting the sophomore to finish with a 189. Right now, Sam Houston State has crossed over the 1,000 pin mark. 43 pins difference in favor of Stephen F. Austin in their match with Louisiana Tech. And you can see 89 pins difference for Arkansas State in the good in their match against Tulane. That's going to help, even if it's not a strike. 2:35 opening game for Arkansas State and Emma Stull. And they're going to get another solid game right behind her by Sarah Saines. You can go up to 213. And the big development for Arkansas State, and you wonder how this is going to carry on into the next games, which are the Baker matches coming up. Maggie Toma off a double after in 8 and 9. We're going to keep an eye on her, the two-hander in the number 4 position for Arkansas State, and see how she finishes. With the two number 5 bowlers in this match that we don't have our eyes on, but we do have our eyes on, Louisiana Tech and Stephen F. Austin, are finishing in great style. Stephen F. Austin getting, getting in as the, 220s to close? And looks like it's going to be Stephen F. Austin grabbing in a very competitive match over Louisiana Tech, putting them one down. Ooh, trip up a 610 because everybody normally does that for Arkansas State. That's Faith. So she may finish as high as 207. And looking all the more like Arkansas State's going to grab that 1-0 lead going into the Baker match. So what we will do here on InsideBowling.com is when these two matches in front of us finish, we'll take a short break, and we will come back with the second match, which will be the traditional Baker format. As the pace has slowed a bit, it's gotten a little quieter with some of these games over. And a flush strike there for Tulane, but it looks like it's going to be too little too late. Vanderbilt a comfortable winner, 1,046 to 834 over Valpo. Stephen F. Austin, excellent match, 971 to 938. Sam Houston sitting at 1,085. That's the highest pinfall we have so far. And we're just watching Youngstown State finish up. Youngstown is over 1,000 now. So that was the most competitive match, it looks like. All right, let's watch Maggie Toma here on the right on lane 20. See what she does. Nope, that one, she smiles. She knows everything's going to be okay. Boy, this, what a match between Youngstown State and Sam Houston State. Both teams breaking the 1,000-pin barrier. Which it looks like Arkansas State will also be doing. Make it? Yes! Wow, Maggie, beautifully done. That little extra rev rate sent that 3-pin just flying over to the left to wipe out the 4-7. And one last ball in this match. this game for Youngstown. And we'll get their score wrapped up. Boy, that was a terrific battle. This Baker match, impossible to call. I think that's what, 1,045? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're both, Kim and I are straining to see the final score, but I think it's 1,045. But they haven't posted it up yet. But still, that both teams going over the into the four figures is impressive. As far as I can tell, that will be. Yep, it's 1,045. They won by 40. Arkansas State and Tulane. We've had the privilege of showing you this one. Maggie Toma will get one more to finish up. Mia for Tulane having a tremendous game. And Maggie, again, that 9. That's not a stone 9, but still. So she finishes at 154, but her teammates carried her through this time. Solid job from Arkansas State, the number 2 seed, in a 2 versus 7 battle against Tulane. So Arkansas State will take a 1-0 lead. Vanderbilt has a 1-0 lead. Sam Houston and Stephen F. Austin also have 1-0 leads. The only so-called lower seed in the 4 versus 5 match to win the first point was Sam Houston. So you're watching InsideBowling.com live coverage of the 2023 Southland Bowling League Championship. Round 1, the team game is wrapped up. And we'll take a short break and get ready for round number 2, the Baker matches. The classic Baker style, 1 first and 6th frame, 2 and 7, 3 and 8, 4 and 9, and 5 and 10. For Kim and for Mike Flanagan, who's out there somewhere in the cyber world, I'm Dave Lamont. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back in just a few minutes on InsideBowling.com. just like that, we are back here on InsideBowling.com. Dave Lamont with you. And just spoke to Carolyn Doran-Ballard briefly during the break. And hopefully Carolyn will be able to join us sometime today. Her daughter Alyssa is bowling for Vanderbilt. Let's quickly give you a recap of the first round, the team round, or first game actually. And that was Vanderbilt defeating Valpo. The number 1 versus number 8 battle. Vandy, the number 1 seed. Oh, there it is right there. Look at that. Youngstown State and Sam Houston had an epic battle. Only 40 pins stood apart after all those shots. Sam Houston picking up the win there to go ahead 1-0. Stephen F. Austin defeating Louisiana Tech, 971 to 938, and Arkansas State pulled away late from Tulane. So you see what goes on here. And with this bracket, let's just use Vanderbilt as an example. This first name that popped into my head. Let's say they win this Baker battle with Valpo. So just move Vandy off to the right, like you have been doing with your March Madness brackets. But in March Madness is not double elimination. This is. You can make a run from the loser's bracket into the championship. So Valpo would drop down, and they would play in match number 5, which is going to be this afternoon at 1:30 Central Time. And they would take on the loser of Youngstown State versus Sam Houston. Meantime, the losers between Stephen F. Austin and La Tech and Arkansas State and Tulane will go take each other on this afternoon in another match. And then if you lose that, your tournament is finished. If you win, you've got a lot of work to do to get out of that bracket, but you can. So it's really fascinating to watch the amount of games and the amount of time it's going to take for somebody to get out of that bracket to take on a team that will have much smoother sailing. So we're sticking with the lane assignments, of course, have not changed. We're now in the Baker format. Just a quick explanation if you are new to the Baker format. If you're the number 1 bowler, you only bowl 1 in 6 frames. If you're the number 2 bowler, 2 and 7, 3 and 8, 4 and 9, and the anchor bowler bowls the 5th and the 10th frames. You can substitute a bowler if you need to. Somebody gets hurt, or maybe you have a match that's a bit of a blowout. You want to give somebody a look off the bench. Maybe even with the different equipment. Sometimes somebody will bring out a ball that's a little bit different than what everyone's been using, just as the lanes are transitioning, and you want to give them a look. Maybe just give them an opportunity to make an appearance in a championship like this. The Southland Bowling League is the finest women's bowling conference in the country. Apologies to anybody else, but so you've got all of that going on. You see the totals up there at the top for Youngstown and Sam Houston. And that's just going to be sort of scrolling in the house here. But this is a different animal altogether. So here are our lineups for these teams. And Sam Houston State did not change theirs at all. So it's still going to be Kaya Gray, Taylor Lucas, Bea Hernandez, Denise Blackenzie, and Elise Chambers. Their opponent, Youngstown State, did not change their lineup at all. So they're going with Jod Cote in the number 1 position, Lindsay Ennis, number 2, Megan Graham's number 3, Kirsten Moore, number 4, and the anchor bowler is Madison Marks. Arkansas State lineup now looks like this. They did, Justin Kostick did make some changes. His new leadoff bowler is Faith Welch. Then holding the number 2 position, Sarah Sains. In the number 3 position now you have Maggie Toma. So Maggie was bowling in the 4 spot before, now she's up to 3. In the number 4 position, Emma Stahl. Emma had been the leadoff bowler. And the number 5 remains the same, Brooklyn Buchanan. Tulane, they shuffled quite a bit. So Haley Veach goes and leaves Amelia Vasquez, the senior in the number 1 position. Brings Cassidy Williams, a freshman, off the bench to be in the number 2 position. The number 3 position is now Sofia Druknaya from Ukraine. Sofia had been number 4. Also coming in off the bench, Morgan Gitlitz, a junior from Freehold, New Jersey. She's the number 4 bowler, and the anchor remains the same, Mia Stolaskis, a freshman from Worcester, Mass. So major changes that time for the Green Wave. A little shuffling for Arkansas State, but Sam Houston and Youngstown State, the team's on your left. Youngstown bowling right now on lane number 12, unchanged. And this moving at a rapid pace. And some excellent scores. .239. All right. Sam Houston here. Ooh, do you see this? That 10 pin wobbled a bit. One of the pins on the way out actually touched the 10 just a little bit. That would have been a miraculous save. Arkansas State looking strong with a triple. Make that now a quad, while Tulane struggling a little bit. So Arkansas State looking like they're going to grab a game here. So here's the deal. You're going to get 5 Baker games, and it's total pinfall. All right? And that's what will advance you or put you into that bottom bracket. Simple as that. So unfortunately, the getting hungry tap food thing is making it hard to see the score for Youngstown after the first game. But I would say that Arkansas State is in a very good position in their first game against Tulane. And it looks like Stephen F. Austin and Louisiana Tech are already into their second game. So we're playing a touch of catch up here. But we'll catch up. We'll find out what's going on after one game. But this is clearly game number 2 for Stephen F. Austin and Louisiana Tech. But it's total pinfall. So that's why you're going to see, you see the traditional. So 1,009 to 906 was that final for Arkansas State and Tulane. It was Sam Houston State in the opening round, the first game, that had the best pinfall at 1,085. Then Vanderbilt 1,046, Youngstown 1,045, although they lost the point. Arkansas State won their match 1,009 to 906 over Tulane. Stephen F. Austin beat Louisiana Tech 971 to 938. Valpo had the lowest pinfall at 834. They're the number 8 seed against the number 1 seed, a richly talented Vanderbilt team. And Arkansas State, Tulane, what's Arkansas State? 222 max. Well, I think that is going to be a win for Arkansas State right there in this game. I don't think Tulane can top them. If Arkansas State punches out, which they didn't. A lot of encouragement right off to my right with this Louisiana Tech Stephen F. Austin, which we're able to keep an eye on. They're not on our cameras. Our cameras are on lanes 11 and 12 and 19 and 20 today. 2:12 for Arkansas State. And now I don't believe there's anything that Tulane can do about that. So that will be one there for Arkansas State. Meantime, Youngstown State and Sam Houston State here at the Southland Bowling League Championship. They had a great first match in total pinfall game, traditional. And I fully expect another competitive match here in Baker. That's massive trouble and a real count killer if this doesn't go for Youngstown State. Slide that head pin over. Nope, didn't quite work out that way. So an open frame against Youngstown State in frame number 2. And you're going to get an open frame here, unfortunately, for Sam Houston State in frame number 2, barring a miracle. Who won the Sam Houston? Yes, I've renamed them Sam Houston State. The question: who won the Sam Houston State match? The total pinfall was won by Sam Houston by 40. To answer that question in the chat, don't always have time to look at the chat. Trying to keep up with this action is literally nonstop. And in that Louisiana Tech Stephen F. Austin second game, I'm pretty confident the second game. It looks like Stephen F. Austin is going to have to rally to catch up. But they may be doing so as they've doubled in 6 and 7 in front of us on our inside bowling cameras. Tulane will finish just a little bit short. I don't know if someone's asking me who I think is going to win. Just from what I've seen, I mean, Vanderbilt's loaded. Let's be honest about that. So they would appear to be the team to beat. But in all honesty, and I can't, is that Ice? I'll call it Ice for short. Ice. And I had conversations with, I think, 7 of the 8 head coaches before we got started today, and I asked about that. I said, okay, but take yourself out of the equation. Who do you think is the team to beat here? Who's the hot team? And I heard Sam Houston was one that has a great chance to win. So a couple of times I was told to be watched out for Louisiana Tech. Now, they're in a little bit of trouble after losing the first, but they can easily come back and force a 4 of 7 Baker. I had one coach say there's like 6 teams that have a chance to win this event. So nobody is a clear-cut favorite. I would play it safe and go with the chalk and say Vandy. I really like what I've seen from Arkansas State so far. They're handling the conditions and the transitions very well. So those are probably, I might stick with 1 and 2. I've been super impressed with Sam Houston. Only 6 bowlers here. And, you know, they're coming off of the win last week in Tennessee. That has to make them feel good about themselves and has to make them feel like no matter the situation, they can get through it. So those would probably be my 3. But the list of times that I've been wrong about things is a long list. So I wouldn't, don't go running the windows with my selections, please. for your own good. What I have been impressed with so far as we're into a lot of second and almost in some cases third Baker games has been the spare shooting has been excellent. Again, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a real long day for some teams. And the focus and the concentration that's necessary to do this is excellent so far. Really, you're not seeing sloppy spare shooting, single pin misses. We all know what the makeable and the tougher spares are. And the makeable ones are, I don't have a percentage, of course, but just from the naked eye, I've been highly impressed with the spare shooting. Now, as soon as I say that, now there's one missed by Tulane, chopping the 3 off the 3-6-10. That's not considered an easy spare, even by professionals. So I would never call that one easy. So I hope that answered your question. There's a smother for Sam Houston State. And that game .225 possible, I guess, for Youngstown. 234 in reach of Sam Houston. One thing I like about this, the pace, no matter what you are, even though you're resting, you don't have to wait for long to throw your next shot. This is literally like a great league. When you bowl, you sit down, you're back up in a moment. That's how this is going. A fast pace, I think, keeps the athletes warm, keeps their concentration together. And a lot at stake here. This is an automatic NCAA berth at stake. Now, this being a strong conference, yes, there's other teams here who are going to be invited. And by the way, that selection show will be on NCAA.com on the 29th. All right, that's the 29th. I believe that's a Wednesday. Yeah, it is Wednesday. 4 o'clock Eastern time. And you can just go to the NCAA website to see it. Now, I guess I don't believe in the announcer's jinx, but there was a single pin spare miss there, unfortunately, for Tulane. But nevertheless, I stand by what I said earlier about the quality of the spare shooting so far today. Tulane and Valpo, certainly the long shots here. They drew very difficult seeds. This Arkansas State team out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, looking very smooth right now. And Vanderbilt is Vanderbilt, powerhouse in the sport. And you may be wondering what's going on with all the scores and all that. It's going so quickly, and it's just us. So we're going to try to get some help into who's got the advantage through these early games, because we may get some teams eliminated. Yes.
I got us a score.
Oh, awesome! Shoot, please, Kim. You've got a guy, as they would say. I got a guy.
It's a girl.
It's a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a woman then. Doesn't sound the same. Doesn't sound as menacing.
Or a person.
Right. There's always something in the movies about I got a guy. It sounds menacing as opposed to there's a woman handling. It sounds like okay, good. It'll get done right. All right, well, even I can tell you that This is a big ball here for Youngstown State. 8 to take this one here. 7 to tie it. Anything less, and it'll be a break for Sam Houston State. But in total pins, will it make a big difference? The old journalism cop-out. That remains to be seen. All right. Youngstown State grabs that one. 205 to 202. They pick up 3 pins. Arkansas State hammered down on Tulane. There's a big messenger for Tulane trying to come off the deck. I think the best they can do is, 203? Yeah, the best they can do is 203. Arkansas State can top that if they don't get sloppy. So the teams facing the elimination bracket right now are Valpo, Youngstown, Louisiana Tech, and Tulane. And whatever happens, we'll stay with it. If we need to go best 4 of 7 and for a 3rd point, we will stay with you. It's possible all of these will end right here, and there will not be a need for a tiebreaker, which would be best 4 of 7 in Baker. But our broadcast schedule, one more time, regardless of what's going on here, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern, you know your time zone. We will have a couple of elimination matches, so we will see some teams leave this event today. And we'll also have 2 matches out of the winner's bracket. And that will wrap things up. And then rounds 3 and 4 start at 8:30 tomorrow Central Time and 1:30 p.m. Central Time. And I think Arkansas State in a position now. In fact, I think they're going to win. They're going to take that game right there. It looks like. I don't think Tulane can do anything about it now. And then Sunday, get up early. Breakfast in Rowlett. 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern for match 13. And that's going to be, as they used to say in pro wrestling, loser leaves town, where the winner will advance to the finals. And the losing team, and this is an elimination bracket match, will be eliminated. And then we get to match 14, which is the team that's been undefeated so far, taking on the team coming out of the loser's bracket. If the undefeated team wins, we pack it up and go to the airport. If they don't, we stick around until we crown a champion. Simple as that. And no, that's not Kimberly Pressler, by the way. Kimberly is not as technically proficient. Great announcer, wonderful human being. So if you ever do meet her, say hi. She's great. But no, she's not here. Of course, I could have said that, and who would have known, right? I mean, you know. Well, if you're just sitting down, it's 10:10 in Central Time. I'm Dave Lamont, and you're watching InsideBowling.com live coverage of the first day of the 3-day event to determine the Southland Bowling League champion for women's bowling. We are in Rowlett, Texas at Bowlarama, our wonderful hosts. And we are into the second level of our day, or the second level of the first round, I should say, which is 5 Baker games, total pinfall. And we will have some teams eliminated soon. Others will be forcing a best 4 of 7, perhaps, to wrap up the morning. Fast pace here in Rowlett. It's interesting. The younger players both fairly quickly now. I'm noticing very few slow bowlers here today. Almost no one. And the senior bowlers, PBA 50 guys, go quickly. It's the younger, it's the crowd in the middle that takes their time. So that's definitely going to be another win on that side for Arkansas State as they pad their lead. Sam Houston State and Youngstown State on the left part of your split screen. And we just stuck with the split screen because it's been fun to watch both matches, frankly. This isn't some, we're not trying to win an Emmy here, although we'll take one. But it's just been fun. And it gives folks an opportunity to watch, hopefully, at least some of their favorite teams. And Kim Richter's taking care of some of the paperwork for me right now. But this Youngstown Sam Houston has just been, they're kind of attached almost. They've been within 40 pins of each other through the first game when it was purely total pinfall. Now in a pinfall with the Baker format. Do you have any numbers? I notice people are coming up to you and, all right, trusting me to read them, huh? All right, so Vanderbilt, 228 to 188 in game 1, then 243 to 200 in game number 2. Looking more like Vanderbilt's going to move on. Youngstown State, here we go again. Now, Youngstown State was down 40. They win 256 to 242, then 205 to 202 in game number 2. But Sam Houston's off to a terrific start with the exception of that open frame, but still looking pretty good. Stephen F. Austin routed Louisiana Tech 245 to 180, and then that got flipped around 203 to 179. So too soon to call. Arkansas State looking good for them. They had 212 to 197, then 216 to 171. So the Red Wolves are also looking like, and so here we are, the 1 and 2, looking like they're going to advance. But it's the middle of the house where the suspense is, and fortunately, that's where we are. Arkansas State looking good, but this Sam Houston Youngstown match, we may end up putting this one single, depending on how things go. And also, Stephen F. Austin and Louisiana Tech were only, 38 pins apart? 33 pins apart when they got together in the first round. But now, it looks like Stephen F. Austin has a little bit of a lead, and in this game is too close to call. Although Stephen F. Austin's riding a double going into the 10th, and they might have an edge going into the 10th. Ooh, Greek Church breaks up that front three for Arkansas State. And just when things were looking good for for Sam Houston, they get stuck with a split. And 4 in a row for Youngstown State. Well, if there's ever one of these that's going to go to a 4 of 7, it could be this one. And you know what? It's the 4-5 battle. Youngstown State, the 4. Sam Houston State, the 5. So here with the Greek Church, unless you're Tommy Jones. Oof! She almost was. That was pretty spectacular. There's a big shot coming up in the Stephen F. Austin and Sam Houston. They're just, no, you know what? If that's 168, then Louisiana Tech won't win this game. Sam Houston will. But you deal sometimes with the school colors and backgrounds and white numbers and white letter, so it looks like 168. I may have to go to a store today and get binoculars in between. I'm serious. Just a cheap pair. I think Stephen F. Austin just has to show up to win that game and build their lead a little bit. The tension is clearly mounting in front of us, though, on the left. I'm just watching the coaches, and they are agonizing right now over every moment in this match. We just saw Sam Houston get stuck with a 4-6-7, and now Youngstown gets stuck with a 4-6-7 in the 10th. Meantime, a great shot to lead off the 10th for the anchor bowler, and that's Elise Chambers, whose mom happens to be here today. Is that 200 on the dot there? Yep, 200 on the dot. Oh, how about a tie for this game? Yeah, nope, not going to happen. Youngstown picks up a little bit more. And I do mean a little bit. This has been fascinating to watch these two. Good looking strike from the left side for Tulane. Ooh, through the nose, Arkansas State on that one. But Arkansas State's in a pretty good position there. And if you see at the top of your screen, it says traditional. That's what happened when you had the first game go by. And by game, each, not a Baker game. So everybody bowled the full game, and you only had 40 pins separating between 5 bowlers on each side. And this happening right now, we're going 5 Baker games. This is not best of anything. We're not to that point yet. The answer to the question, yeah, we've mentioned this, but I certainly realize we have a lot of new viewers coming in and out. Yes, if there is a 1-1 tie, we do best 4 out of 7 Baker. No, so, and while I don't think that's going to happen with Arkansas State, Tulane, or Vanderbilt versus Valparaiso, it's possible with the Louisiana Tech, Stephen F. Austin, and very possible with Youngstown and Sam Houston. Very possible. We're getting scores brought to us as fast as anybody can. And, Youngstown is winning these games, but they're not winning them by a lot. Game 3 just in. Yeah, Vanderbilt won that last game by 80. I'm going to go ahead and call that one. That Valpo will be put into the losers bracket. But Youngstown State was down by 40. They picked up 14, 3, and 10. So that's 27, right? Yeah. So Sam Houston still has a touch of an edge there. Stephen F. Austin just won that last game by 16. I'm going to literally have to get a calculator for that match. And then Arkansas State and Tulane are finishing up game 3. And Tulane, their problem is they were down over 100 when this all started and lost by 212, 197, 216, 171. So what? 222 is in play for Arkansas State. Well, not anymore. It's not. So Tulane might pick up a few pins in this game, but they're really going to need a miracle, I think, to be honest. So if that does play out that way, you would have Tulane taking on the loser of the match between Louisiana Tech and Stephen F. Austin. Whereas the loser of Youngstown State, Sam Houston, would slide into playing Valpo. But good luck figuring that out at the moment. And nope. But I think for Arkansas State, they're okay. They might not win this game, but if they don't, it's not going to hurt them. Looking forward to having Mike Flanagan join me tomorrow. And Mike and I will carry you through the Saturday and Sunday, where the tension will be ramped up on the lanes. And it's already, if you notice, Kim, it's gotten quieter a little bit. Like not quite as rowdy as it was earlier. It was a lot louder an hour and 2 hours ago here. As I think part of it is the reality is starting to set in for a couple teams that understand that when they come back this afternoon that they're going to be in a leaving town situation. And then just the raw tension and these other matches that are too close to call. While the cheering is still there, it's not as excited. Now, if we get to a situation where a couple shots can throw a match either way, then they're going to raise the roof in this place. But right now, we have an effects mic open, and you're not getting quite the noise you did earlier. Let's cheer for the Sam Houston side after that strong strike. And Sam Houston rocking 3 in a row while Youngstown slow out of the gate in this game. This is game number 4 of 5 Baker games. Sam Houston State narrowly in front. That's a big shot right there. You know, can Youngstown State hang around and hope for Sam Houston to cool off or have an open frame? They're not going to get one there, I don't think. 7-pin should be handled well by the anchor bowler, Elise Chambers. Oh, big shot there. Boy, that turned a corner. I thought that was not going to make it. But it turned beautifully. That's the first strike of the game for Youngstown State and for Marks. Now it's getting a little louder over there. The Stephen F. Austin crowd off of a double in their very close match with Louisiana Tech in game number 4. Is that going to turn? It does. So it looks like Youngstown's established their line. Kaya. Oh, light hit and mixer. Big shot there because Youngstown's starting to feel good. And Kaya gives them a reason to not. And so we're getting some second. I want to thank everybody, by the way, here from the Southland Conference and the Southland Bowling League for all of their help in getting everything to us. 196-174, Tulane beat Arkansas State, but Tulane's going to have a giant win to really be a contender to come back and force a best 4 of 7 Baker. They will not get a strike there. A lot of traffic in front of the 8, but not going to happen. Big strike here. Boy, Youngstown has nailed that line down, but couldn't get the messenger to get over in time. So here's an important spare shooting contest. You see now 14 pins separate these teams. Both of them looking at 10 pins. All right, covered on one. And very nicely done. So they're already close. And they're just now 14 pins apart going into the 8th frame. And Sam Houston has a narrow lead in total pinfall. Arkansas State slip up there on their 4th game. Still in a pretty good position, I think. We are already projecting Vanderbilt. In fact, I'm even going to, which is nothing against Valpo, but I think it's safe to put Vandy into match number 7, which will be later today. And Valpo will pop into the loser's bracket. That's, I think Election Central can call that one. And Arkansas State, a little trouble getting started in this 4th game. A couple of spares for Tulane, but Arkansas State staring a second open frame in a row to get things started. Look out there, a trip 6 for Sam Houston for the Bearcats. And somebody was asking about the total score there. Hang on, because we want to see how this one finishes. Tulane with a strike. Can they possibly make a huge comeback? Oh, I thought that would come out of the gutter and trip the 6, but the 10-pin just died there, unfortunately. So a slow start for Arkansas State in game number 4. But they did have 103 pins to work with, and they won the first 2 games rather decisively over Tulane. So Tulane's really going to have to blow them out in game 4. Flush, absolute perfection. And that's Chambers again. Been good, been real good. At least Chambers in that anchor position, living up to the responsibilities. And that's going to wrap up. And boy, when you're thinking about pinfall, could you ask for anything worse than that? Well, I guess it hit one in the channel. Like roll one in the channel would be worse. But bad break for Youngstown. Great break for Sam Houston. I guess I could do their total scores while I have a second here. So we had Sam Houston at 108.5. And their total, they're 249. Oh boy. So they've got 1968. Youngstown began with 1,045. Oops. And what they wind up with here, 192. They have 1898. That was a damaging game for them. So my unofficial, extraordinarily unofficial total is 1968 for Sam Houston, 1898 for Youngstown State's Penguins. Trust me when I tell you it's extraordinarily unofficial. You already heard me say whoops once when I was typing it in my phone. So we're going to get something more official handed to me here in a moment. But I'm going to go with that for now. So this is the 5th game. So this has to be a blowout for Youngstown State, and there's no better way to start. But they've work to do. And if you feel like backing me up, please go ahead and grab your calculator, Kim, and help me out in case I've made a mistake. And also, thanks to some of you all, I see was that an Sports Information Director for Arkansas State checking in. Hello to everybody in Jonesboro. Now, I added the total pins, but it's the Baker scores that will be the ones that will make the difference. So if you do it that way, which is the correct way, Vanderbilt is still going to win. So let's do it with the Baker scores only. Although Vandy did have a 163 in their last game. But just using the Baker scores, Vandy has 854. Whoops, there you go again. With the phone calculators, I have a problem with these. 200, 854. All right, 854 to 746 is the difference there between Vandy and Valpo. Youngstown, Sam Houston. Let's get Youngstown taken care of here. And once again, there we go. 205, 200. And 192. Now Youngstown is trending in the wrong direction with their scores. Youngstown is 256, 205, 200, 192. So that gives them 853. Sam Houston 245 to open, then 179, then 184, and 237, 845. So at the moment, the advantage belongs to Youngstown. I'm going to do that one again because I want to make sure. All right, Sam Houston, 242, 202, 190, and then 249 gives them 883. Not 8, so they have a 30-pin advantage there. But I'm going to double check Youngstown one more time to make sure. That is correct. 883 to 853 there. Stephen F. Austin in their battle. Sits at 845. Louisiana Tech, 180, 203, 168. That really hurts. And 200. All right. I'm missing the old Texas Instruments calculators. These phone ones are mediocre at best. I realize it could be garbage in, garbage out, too, on my part, but still. I have Louisiana Tech at 751. And Arkansas State. Well, 6:02 through 3. That match is moving on at a little bit slower pace than everyone else. So I'll hold off on that one, I think. I'll just wait on that one. So 30 pins separating Youngstown and Sam Houston State is where we are. And as you can see, this is the 5th game for them. And while it looks very good for Vanderbilt, it looks pretty good for Stephen F. Austin. It's a hand fight right now. They are bowling on a 40-foot, 28 ml oil pattern. Is the answer to that question. Arkansas State lead. This is still game 4 for them, right? Arkansas State? Yeah, that one's a move. That's the only match that's kind of slow. So we'll calculate them in a minute. All right. So Sam Houston, let's start looking at Max here. .242 Max, is that possible? My math that good? .237 Max. So that would not hurt Sam Houston. They still have 30 in hand. Again, trust me when I say these are unofficial. That's me hacking through my phone. Probably some of you are giving a better job than I am of keeping score. I wouldn't ever rule that out. But I will say that Arkansas State and Tulane, man, Arkansas State slipping a little bit here. And speaking of slipping, the anchor bowler for Tulane looking down at the approach with a frown on her face. 178 for Tulane. Oh my, that's an incredibly important strike for Arkansas State, trying to limit the damage. Is suddenly, after 2 games in the 2 teens, they're going 174 and maybe at best 161. Well, man, no, Arkansas State struggling all of a sudden. If she converts this, it's just a 151 and hold everything. Sam Houston State, in the meantime, can go off the sheet and win. Arkansas State 151. That's it, huh? 753 for Arkansas State. Yikes. Did not see that coming. All right. Remember that Sam Houston State has 30 pins in hand. Yep. So Tulane. Well, you know what? Let's watch this. Oh, you've got a 9-pin back there. This is a very important shot. Oh, that's so well done. We'll work about it because we're obviously going to have the only match that's going to be still going on here is going to be Arkansas State and Tulane. As what's the best we can get out of, is that 226 out of Louisiana Tech? Don't want to forget about that match. Stephen F. Austin. I think Stephen F. Austin's going to advance. Arkansas State, I'm not sure what's going on there. They've just lost their look completely. 2:07, so Sam Houston State's going to pull this out. Boy, was that fun to watch these two go at it. So a victory for Stephen F. Austin. I have Sam Houston State surviving. So now let's do the math on this Arkansas State situation, because I thought they were in really good shape, and I was wrong. So I had Arkansas State unofficially at 753. Let me check Tulane. Do you have it? Oh, okay, now you're so 171, 190. Tulane has not gone over 200 yet, and they're only 740. They're down by 11. Again, horribly unofficially. So the first winners bracket set up is Vanderbilt versus Sam Houston. Valpo will take on Youngstown State this afternoon. Well, what do you know? Again, we can go single on this one now, because this is the only one left. And again, I have just 11 pins difference between these two sides. Arkansas State, the Red Wolves on their score on the right, on the left, pardon me, Tulane on the right. We have somebody says that Y State won. Do I have to do this over again? They may have won the game, but I don't think they won the overall. But we'll double check. I need to recalculate that, and Kim's going to do that for me, because I warned you this was horribly unofficial. So we're going to redo the math and see. You have Sam Houston? Okay. So we both have Sam Houston. I think we both have the same number. Yeah, 1,083 to 1,060. We both have that. Okay, so that's Sam Houston. So the total for Sam Houston and Youngstown State, 40 in the first and only 23 in the second. That's how closely they were matched. There you go. That's the way we have it. We'll double check that. All right, that's confirmed. And we're even getting the score sheet. Thank you, Brad Hagan. Yeah, 1,083 to 1,060. That's Sam Houston. Moving on. That's the score sheet. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're going to, well, I understand, Scooby, sometimes I am confused as well. Don't feel bad. Here's what, Scooby, I'll do my best. Vanderbilt and Sam Houston are going to have won their matches 2-0. So they're going to play later today. We believe Stephen F. Austin has moved on, have they not? Yep. Stephen F. Austin defeated Louisiana Tech. They will play the winner of Arkansas State and Tulane this afternoon. While Louisiana Tech is not finished, they go into the losers bracket to await either Arkansas State or Tulane. That's been a low-scoring battle right now. And by my count, I had Tulane only 11 pins apart from Arkansas State. We're going to confirm that. So we have three winners And if Arkansas State will hold on here, they will advance, and our show will be over until 1:30 Central Time. Hopefully, Scoob, that will explain everything. What you had to do here was win the total pinfall game, which Vanderbilt, Sam Houston, and Stephen F. Austin did, and Arkansas State, and then you have to win this Baker match. Right now, the Baker match is in a tizzy here. It's impossible to project a winner, and Arkansas State has 11 pins in their pocket. You have that same total? Yeah. So Kim has the same total. So think of it as a point spread in a way. And this is because these scores are not high, and this is going to be a spare fest here, not a strike fest. So whoever makes the spares and gets the count is going to sneak out of here and either force. So if Tulane comes off the deck and wins this, and they have to win this game by 12 or more, then we will have a best 4 of 7 Baker. If they do not, then we're going to take a break until 1:30 Central Time. And that's about as concisely as I can put this. So can somebody string some strikes together? Oh, my, that crossed all the way over. You're seeing some subtle moves to the left by the bowlers. Not big. We're not ready to loft gutter caps, but subtle. Yeah, this is going to be a count dealio right here. So this is a big conversion. We talk about all day. I've been talking about the quality of the spare shooting. It's going to come down to the spare shooting here as much as anything else. It doesn't appear, based on form, that no one's going to strike this thing out. Tulane does not even have a strike in this game. But Arkansas State has only 2 plus an open frame. Beautifully done. So the lead going into the 8th is 14 for Arkansas State plus 11. So it's right now a 25-pin lead. Well, not anymore, it's not. So now Maggie Toma with a big, big shot, the two-hander. See how she can spin this. She's got a counter. Nope, through the face and a little bit of trouble. So Sophia with a huge strike for Tulane. Can they double? Nope. But that could have been a lot worse. He even picked up an extra pin there, so it's a single pin to shoot at for Morgan. It's a big shot here. Well, that's beautifully executed under the conditions. Maggie Toma with a gigantic spare. So 203 is possible for Arkansas State, which means that Tulane would have to shoot 215 to win the game, to win the 5 Baker game total pinfall. All right, well handled. Now the lead is 8 for Tulane. Remember, it's only 11 total. Big shot, big mix, but not big enough. And there's a sleeper back there. So in the foundation, Tulane pumps a strike. Well now, a huge shot by Morgan Gitlitz, who was added to this Baker game. She did not bowl earlier. .201 possible. And we may have, that's a nice conversion there. Let's see. All right, a 191 is the best Arkansas State can do. But a 211 is the best that can be done for Tulane if they both strike out. Oh, my goodness. That 10-pin was a third of the way down. And it's looking like we're going to have number 7 Tulane surprising Arkansas State after losing by over 100 pins. Ooh, wait a minute. Did I speak too soon? I did speak too soon. Maybe. Let's see. The one thing that we didn't count on was disaster, and that is disaster. Arkansas State needs to make this. And they do. Remember, it was only 11 pin difference, Arkansas State. So look at that as 181 right now if you want. And a damaging split in the 10th. $179. They can't do it. Unbelievable finish. And what a tough finish for Tulane, because they were, without ever going over 200 in this Baker games, had hung around and hung around and hung around, and as Arkansas State scoring decreased, they were taking advantage of it. And while Arkansas State isn't going to finish super strong, it'll be strong enough. That's hilarious to me. I want to see that on the Pro Tour, the team waves. So I have unofficially, what, a 10-point win? You have the same thing for Arkansas, 10-pin win for Arkansas State? Yeah, so that's it. We won't have any extra bowling this morning. Arkansas State has advanced. So what we have, is this. When we come back today at 1:30 Central Time, we'll have, in the losers bracket, Valpo versus Youngstown State, Louisiana Tech versus Tulane in all Louisiana battle. The losers of those matches are eliminated. We'll also have, in the winners bracket, Vanderbilt versus Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin versus Arkansas State. The winners will keep going. The losers will be knocked into the losers bracket in this double elimination event.
Ladies and gentlemen, that completes round number 1.
And there you go. It's official. We got our numbers right. So that will do it for the time being for InsideBowling.com's live coverage of the 2023 Southland Bowling League Championship. We are going to step aside. Thank you to Kim Richter for all of the technical stuff and for the extra legwork on the scores. I can't thank Kim enough for that. So we'll see you at 1:30 Central Time, 2:30 Eastern Time for the second half of our doubleheader today. Hope you've enjoyed this coverage. We are very, very happy to bring it to you. Look forward to more great competition as the day goes on. So for Kim, I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you for watching InsideBowling.com's coverage of the 2023 Southland Bowling League Championship. We'll see you at 2:30 Eastern Time.